Okay, this video is designed to do some training about how to set up the Earthquake new DSP MiniMe 12. Right now behind me I have unpacked one and I just plugged it in. Okay, I'm gonna sit down since I'm an old guy. And here it is. The unit is set and then turned on. You give it a minute usually. Set your phase shift to 0. Not that it matters. Set the DSP on. And I'm gonna set the auto on off to on. Just so that I do it. Now I set my volume at moderate level. Since I'm sitting in this lobby and it's very loud, I'm gonna sweep it more than once. I turned on my iWoofer Pro. In order to do room correction, you guys have to pay $5 to do this. Now we expect the custom home installer to do it, not the consumer, but however, I'll show you the benefits. So the device found, and that's our code. You can always change that code to Mr. Jason subwoofer or whatever. I'm gonna touch it here. I'm gonna go about setting the crossover. I'm gonna follow the crossover. I'm gonna go to the room correction, and I'm gonna use the wizard. And I'm gonna put my iPhone. This is very accurate with iPhone. It is not as accurate with product from Android, since the microphone and Android are all over the place. You can use Android, however, we strongly suggest use good quality mic. All right, so the app immediately prompts you to that you have interface, and now we're sweeping. The app prompted me after one sweep, so I want to have more samples. When you have noisy environment, you need to have more samples. I'm going to sweep it 3 times. Second sweep. Sweep one more. Do you wish to average any more response? I'd say no. Let's go to boomy region next. It is better when you do this to have a quiet environment. Put the kids at the neighbors. Shut off all noise-making machines such as Ring and stuff, and do it so you don't do it twice. I'm gonna have 2 more responses. All right, now I did. I've sent in a flat signal and I picked up the boomy response in the room. I predicted a certain correction 3 times. I'm gonna do fast Fourier transform, and I'm intentionally using technical stuff you don't understand. This will give me an average of these reading, and it's gonna sweep right now for the filter. It's called Finite Impulse Response Filter, FIR. This measures the... All right, gave me warning that I have last sweep, the THC rich 20% may affect the correction. I'm actually willing to live with that, guys. It's almost perfect. So honestly, I don't want to do it again. I'll move to the next. I'm going to go back and go back here, and I'm going to go to crossover. I want to show you a couple of tricks. No other product can do this. Only us at this time. Watch this. This is my 24 dB per octave filter. I'm going to double click it. It's in red. It's 48. So if you move your finger up and down, it changes the slope. 48 is amazing. I slide it to the edge. Look, 48, and it's basically 3 dB down at 20 hertz. Now, let's say I'm crazy man. I'm going to have 100 dB per octave. No one can do this, but I can. In a minute, I'll show you how. Let's click the bandwidth here. As soon as it's red, you slide it this way, it changes the crossover point. Slide it down, it changes the slope. Slide it up, 12 dB. Slide it down, slope. Now, I want you to know, anything of factor of 4, every circle of cycle has 4 quadrant. So when you have a shift of 4th order, 24 dB or 48, you will have 0 phase shift and the crossover. Learn that. So 12 dB per octave is 180 flip. 48 dB per octave is on time. By the way, that's the ringing we don't want you to have when you're doing this. So I'm going to go back and then show you more if my phone cooperate. Okay. So now that I did this, let's say we want equalization point. I'm going to open this up just to show you. EQ on, plus. I just dropped the correction here. Just by making a boost like this, you can boost it wherever you want. Slide it left, slide it right, anywhere you want. You can add as many as you want, up to 30 band. You can make with your finger this, and you narrow the Q. This, and this is on the fly. You could be playing music. And I'm going to take you to the story I told you before. I can make that high pass here, which is subsonic, 100 dB. Look, all I have to do is do this, drop it more, as much as I can. So if I slide that red line all the way to 20, look what happened to my crossover. My crossover becomes over 100 dB per octave. This is unheard of. It's truly a magnificent tool for you guys. You're going to love this sub. Now, I can bring in more EQ point, more. If I have a correction here I want to do, I like to color my subwoofer here with, when the dotted line is red, you can do it. And I want it here. Maybe I want to do something here and cut this. And then look, I can do anything I want with this system. What else can you do? Let's get out of here. And let's go to option. In the option, you can name this whoever subwoofer it is. You can restore to factory setting. Now remember, this is the Pro version. We hope that the consumer doesn't buy the Pro because they're going to screw things up for you. Because the regular version is free and has everything except the room correction. Once you room correct it, I don't think the customer should mess with it. Now, I'm going to take you down the list here. Okay. Preset Manager allows you to store different type of preset for different customers. HW controller, you can change, you can have the phase, the range of the phase shift, from what frequency, high pass filter on or off, that goes to the back crossover setting, low pass filter on and or off. These are the default, they're always on. Now, the boost, if you want to set a bass boost with a range, you can set it. I recommend when you're not sure about what it does, don't do it. Auto on and off. Many people don't need to mess with this. It's set by factory that the sub stay on for 2 minutes and it turns on with very sensitive noise signal or whatever of 10 millivolt. That can change up to 50. If you have a noisy install that you don't know what you're doing, go up to 50 so it doesn't stay awake. And then call somebody to take away the noise. Subwoofers don't make noise. Noise is typically the product of ground loop isolation, a Comcast cable noisy, come into the house, poor grounding, or you didn't do a good job on the install, cheap RCA, and otherwise. You should have zero noise in your system. Whole time, how long does a sub stays on after your music stop? 30 minutes is good. We don't do it that way. We're trying to be green because of the Paris Treaty. We put it at 2 minutes. Now we get out of this menu. Many of you might see down there here like SHS. SHS is subharmonic synthesizer. This is a technology that was developed originally by a company called DBX. DBX was owned by Zaki Abdelnabi, who is a friend of mine. He bankrupt back in '84 or closed. Now, subharmonic synthesizer is a method of recovering bass that was removed by the recording studio. In the old days, they knew you had a crappy speakers and they didn't want you to burn them and break them. So they roll off low frequency. Subharmonic synthesizer is a fantastic tool. If you have a 20 hertz come in to the sub, 40 hertz come into the sub, what it does, it gives you that frequency plus half. So if you have 30, it brings you 15 plus half. If you have 50, it gives you 50 plus 25. And that is not a bass boost. That's bass regenerator. It's a fantastic tool. You exercise caution, don't put too much, but I didn't trust you, so I internally put a fixed subsonic so you can't mess things up. Because if you go out here and create a bass boost at about 20 hertz and go back and create subharmonic synthesizer boost at 100%, you're liable to get DC going to the sub and kill it. And I knew you guys would do that. So I went ahead and put passive circuit protection. Now, let's show you what it does. So if you have the subharmonic synthesizer here, you slide it this way. While you're playing the music, you're gonna hear fantastic changes. It also allows you to have a delay, 5 milliseconds. I don't see why you wanna do this. Setting it on 0 is the best. And now, dynamic bass control, we all know, so the bass control, it changes the contour. If you're playing low level or high level, and high level, your ear hears differently, and in low level, it hears differently. So basically, dynamic bass control, you have it in car stereo. When a level is high, it changes the equalization to match that of your human hearing, and that follows the curve.